Welcome if you're new. My name is Rachel. Today we are going to do a little bit of crystal gridding, and I wanted to do a grid for the new year. The other day I just thought that I should make a grid for the new year, and so I decided to make a list of everything that I want in the new year. So I wrote down things like health, success, happiness, peace, love, so making a list of all the individual things that I want to attract and expand on in this new year. I made a list of those things, and then I started just jotting down ideas for different stones that I could use for that specific thing. For instance, for peace, I'm going to use selenite and lepidolite. And for love, I'm going to use rose quartz, rhodonite, rhodochrosite, and emerald, things like that. So I wrote down all kinds of ideas, and then honestly, I was going to go buy a bunch of little crystals to make this grid and make everything look perfect and symmetrical and just like this beautiful rainbow of colors. And not that there's anything wrong with doing something like that, but I decided it would be so much better if I just walked around the house and picked up things that I already had. So for instance, I'm not going to use 4 similar pieces of rose quartz in this grid for the love portion of it. I'm going to use a piece of rhodonite, a piece of rhodochrosite, a piece of rose quartz, and a piece of emerald. And those are going to be my 4 love stones that are going to be gridded like they're the same, because it's the same energy I'm trying to pull in, and they're similar size and shape. So you can do that. Like, you don't have to have all of the perfect things to make the perfect grid. And while they're beautiful and it's so much fun to make grids like that sometimes, you don't need it. So, made my list. I made ideas, I walked around and picked up a bunch of random stones, and now we get to play with the gridding. Okay guys, these are the stones that I'm going to use in this New Year's grid today. I decided to start with a center of selenite. And I like using spheres in the middle of grids. I feel like it gives off a nice peaceful energy that kind of just goes everywhere, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use this for the middle. It's a very high vibrational stone. It has a lot of great energy. It's very healing. It's very clearing. A big piece of selenite is great to have in a home, in a bedroom, in a living room, anywhere. It's just going to give off this great kind of like peaceful, cleansing, but very high vibrational energy. It's great to put in the middle of a grid also because selenite keeps other stones charged and cleansed. So this whole grid is going to be charged and cleansed constantly by this selenite. So we're going to put this right in the middle of the grid here. Since I wanted to do so much about like peace and happiness, high vibrations, that's why I chose to put selenite in the middle of this grid. Now for peace, I'm going to go ahead and add some lepidolite. So these are both pieces of lepidolite. Lepidolite is a great calming stone. It's full of natural lithium silica, and it's one of the best stones, I think, for calmness, anxiety, just chilling out. And this one actually has pink tourmaline in it too. And pink tourmaline is a stone of love and happiness, so it's definitely like an added boost there. And I'm just going to place these on both sides. Now, the next stone I'm going to use is garnet. Garnet I had to add in this grid because garnet is like the manifestation stone. It helps you get what you want, what you're looking for. Garnet is also good for the success aspect, the money aspect. It's a really good stone for love. So it covers a lot of the things that I put on my list of things that I want to get out of the next year. And then right after the garnet on both sides, I'm going to use an additional piece of lepidolite. And this is just gonna like balance it to me because these are such large pieces. I wanna put 2 stones here to accommodate for the largeness of these. And I feel like this is just a really nice balance. The next thing I'm going to use is this pyrite. You guys know how much I love pyrite. I have a whole video about pyrite, and the last time we did gridding, we did a wealth and prosperity grid with pyrite. So of course I have to put it into this grid because I do want success and money and all of that kind of stuff to be brought to me even more in 2020. So I'm gonna put these in the grid next, just right here. I'm going to keep building out from these, and I'm going to put my love stones in here now. So like I said, I'm using 4 completely different stones for love, but they're all great for love. This one is rhodochrosite. It's a really nice gemmy piece of rhodochrosite. It's just beautiful. I am also going to use a piece of rose quartz. Of course, rose quartz is really good for love, but it's also really good for calmness and peace. So it's going to add another layer to the grid. I am going to use some rhodonite. Rhodonite is another great love stone. This one has a cute little face in it. And then I'm also going to use an emerald. Emerald is another great stone for love, but it's also great for prosperity and abundance. It's great for healing. It's a really good heart chakra stone. So you notice that the stones I'm using for love are pink and green, and those are the 2 colors for heart chakra stuff. So that makes sense. Each stone that I put down, guys, like I can feel the energy change and move. It's a really cool thing. If you start like paying attention to when you're gridding and when you're moving stuff around, usually what happens to me is I kind of have to like stop and like take a breath because I can already feel this. I like to add a layer of protection in my grids. Even if it's just like a grid for attracting something, I like putting a protection stone in it kind of like as a filter because you want to attract the things you want, but you want to attract the right things. And so I like using black stones, protection stones as a filter in a grid, but also I do want to be protected in this next year of my life. So I'm going to put some protection stones in, and I'm just going to continue on the same line that we've been working on. And these are little pieces of onyx. So I want to put some green calcite in here. Green calcite is great for peace and calmness. It's also a really good stone for health, and it does bring money and abundance. So I definitely wanted to get some green calcite in here, and I'm going to put these just on the other side of these big lepidolites. See how even though we're using all kinds of different stones here, this still feels even. It feels balanced. See how this works? I'm going to start putting some points on here. So on this side, I'm going to use this nice Lemurian point that I have. It has really great energy in it. It has a lot of really great power, and I just love how crystal clear it is. I just really wanted to put this into my New Year's grid because it has a lot of the energy that I do want to bring to myself during the new year. So I'm going to put that right there. And then on the other side, I'm actually going to use 2 smaller points instead of a big one. Again, in grids, you want to keep things kind of symmetrical. And that's why, like, for the lepidolites, since they're so big, I kind of use 2 stones right here to even it out. So I'm using a larger point over here and smaller ones. So I'm going to use 2, again, to even it out. And I'm going to use these because this is another Lemurian. It's just smaller, but it has that same energy. So I'm going to use that. But then I also wanted to use this pyrite included quartz point. So this is a piece of quartz that has pyrite inclusions on it, if you can see them right there. So this is another layer of like the wealth abundance aspect. So I want to put these together. Very nice. Another thing that I'm trying to attract with this grid is I want to develop some of my gifts. So I picked some stones that are great for like third eye stuff. It's great for developing your kind of like psychic gifts. And I'm going to use ruby fuchsite for this. I have a lot of luck with using ruby fuchsite and having my abilities kind of like heightened a little bit. So I'm going to use that for that aspect of it. And I'm also going to use a piece of Auralite 23. Same thing. Whenever I have this on me, I notice a huge difference in my, let's call it perceptiveness. So I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to put this one right here. I am also trying to attract happiness. Citrine is a really great happiness stone. It has that kind of like warm, sunshiny energy, which especially in the winter is something that I need. And I just think this is a really gorgeous point. And again, it brings abundance and wealth and things like that. So it's always great to put in a grid. So I am going to be using this as one of these points. And then over here, I am going to use this pink Lemurian that I have. Pink Lemurians are very soothing and healing. I love Lemurian energy, and the pink ones are even more about love. So I think that this is going to make a great finishing touch to this X that we're making. Okay, so now we just have some things to fill in, and I'm definitely putting moldavite in this grid. Moldavite is my favorite crystal. Look at this one. It's a perfect heart. It's so amazingly cute. Moldavite is magic. Moldavite is a stone of transformation. Moldavite has so much power in it. It takes you to where you need to be. It gives you what you need. It shows you things. It's amazing. There's no way I could make this grid without putting some moldavite in it. Oh my gosh, the fact that this is a heart, I mean, come on, this is the cutest, cutest, cutest thing. And then of course, we do need points over here. So these are both just quartz points that I picked up. They are similar-ish size and shape. So put those right there. Okay, now these last crystals are kind of random, but I wanted to incorporate them in here. This one is a piece of heliodor. Heliodor is a type of beryl, like emerald, so this is kind of like a yellow emerald. Heliodor is supposed to have the energy of the sun. Again, like I said with the citrine, I need more like sunshiny, warm energy in my life, especially in the winter. And so I'm putting this in here for happiness and warmth. And I'm just going to fill in these spaces. I also wanted to put a Herkimer diamond in here. Herkimer diamonds just have a lot of power in them. They're also supposed to be really healing. They also amplify other crystals that are around them. And it just felt like I just knew I needed to put this in the grid. So I'm going to put this here. And again, guys, these are different crystals, but I'm trying to do same size and shape to keep the geometric feel and power of the grid. I'm also going to use this piece of rutilated quartz. Rutilated quartz has been really brought to my attention a lot lately. It has rutile in it, and so this is great for wealth and abundance, but it also boosts the power of intention. So building grids is so much about intention and what you want to happen with that grid. So I just thought this was the perfect thing to place in here. And then I wanted to put in a piece of lapis. Lapis is another one that is really great for growing in your spirituality, but it's also supposed to promote happiness. I'm very connected to lapis. It's the first stone that I started wearing every day consistently, and I want to continue to have this energy in my life. So I thought it was the perfect little end stone for this grid. So this is my New Year's grid, and I'm really, really happy with it. I got just like looking at it right now, I'm super in love with it. And also like I can feel this right now, and it's just like radiating these like waves of like happiness and excitement. And it's kind of hard to describe, but it does also feel very peaceful and just whole and powerful. And I'm super in love with this grid. So this is the grid I came up with. I'm really, really happy with it. A few minutes ago, Ryan actually walked into the room and he didn't exactly know what I was doing. And he just walked in the room and he went, "Do you feel that?" He said, "It just feels so peaceful." I swear, he legit had no idea what I was doing over here. And I'm just like, you know, sitting in front of my grid and I'm just like, "Well, yeah." He's like, "Can you feel that?" And I'm like, "Can you feel that? This is what I'm doing. You're feeling that." And so that was kind of a cool moment. So my New Year's grid is set up and I'm just gonna go over it and make sure I incorporated everything that I wanted into here. So on my New Year grid list, I had health. So for health, I have the green calcite, I have moldavite. Moldavite is super healing. I also have the Herkimer diamond in here, great for healing energy. And the green calcite is also really good for positive change. So even though I really like where my life is, I want every day to keep getting a little bit better, right? Like you want to keep growing forward, even if you're in a good place. So positive change is always good. And speaking of positive change, moldavite, like watch my other moldavite video, you'll understand. Success and abundance. So for that, I have the pyrite in here. I have the garnet. Green calcite is also good for that. The citrine over here is going to be great for that. My pyrite included quartz, definitely. All very good things. And then I had love. So for love, I have the rhodonite, rhodochrosite, the rose quartz, and the emerald. Emerald is also great for the abundance, wealth, prosperity type thing. Peace, I have the selenite in the middle here, and I have the lepidolite on all four sides. Green calcite is also very peaceful. Ruby fuchsite is also peaceful. So many of these stones do so many things, and they do so many of the same things, but it's just because they all have this like helpful energy. So it's like they don't just do one thing, they help so many aspects of your life. Crystals are so cool. And so for the happiness factor, I have the citrine in here, the heliodor, the lapis. Oh, and pink tourmaline is great for happiness too. And the pink tourmaline I have inside of this piece of lepidolite, remember? And of course, protection. I have the onyx and I have pieces of moldavite in here, very protective for enhancing my gifts. I have the Auralite 23, I have the ruby fuchsite, moldavite. This is my 2020 New Year's grid. This is the energy I'm trying to like pull more of in. I feel motivated, I feel excited. I have so many plans for 2020 and I can just tell it's gonna be this like great year. Like I mentioned before, I was gonna like run out to the store and get the perfect little crystals to make the perfect New Year's grid. And specifically, I was going to get some moss agate. I feel like I might even expand on this grid in the next few weeks because it's not New Year's yet. And then even after New Year's, you can keep expanding on grids. And sometimes I feel like it even helps them. Like you set the intentions, you set the energy, it's working, but it's almost like you can power it up again if you just like move something or tweak something or add something. So I probably will end up adding to this grid the other things that I initially wanted to use. I definitely wanted to put moss agate in here, and I was just feeling called towards that. And it's a very, very healing stone, but it's also a lot about money, but also it's very connected to like plants and nature, and I'm trying to make this place like a jungle in the next couple years. So for all of those reasons, I wanted to use moss agate. And I also wanted to get a few pieces of angelite in here. Angelite is a very, very calming stone, I think, but it's also great for tuning in and turning on your gifts a little bit more. And that's something I'm definitely trying to work on, among so many other things. So this is my New Year's grid, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you've been experimenting with making some grids of your own and realizing how much fun it is. And I hope that you learned something. Please share this video if you have any friends that are trying to learn about crystals or gridding, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.